Hi guys, welcome back to NEET-PG Thrissur. I'm Dr. Benjamin, and this is the second part of the video in which we are trying to discuss on how to crack the NEET-PG, AIIMS, PGI, JIPMER and NEET-PG. And in the last video we discussed on how to choose between a T&D, class series, a note series or an app-based study. And in this video we'll be trying to explain how to go about, how to make a study plan and execute it to achieve your dream seat or a dream goal. Okay, so in this particular session, I want to give you, first of all, going into the session, I want to thank all those guys who actually gave me positive feedback and negative feedback. Really enjoyed it. And one of the followers actually asked me in a very positive way, sir, it's very difficult to follow you at your speed, so please try to reduce your speed. I'm very sorry for that, for those people who are actually feeling that I'm very fast. For your information, I am I was a stammerer by birth. And it took a lot of effort for me to bring out, to get over my stammering. So one of the techniques I developed was to speak fast and continuously to escape my stammering, problem. So it is very difficult for me to reduce my speed. So please bear with me, okay? If you miss anything in between, you can just text me in my video. I will just try to fill in those areas with text. And coming back into the video, so how to go about it, okay? We have already decided, now I'm just recapitulating, we have already decided to study and prepare for the next exam. It can either be the mid sessions or the NEET. I've told you to keep that resolve and take an interim goal. And to achieve the interim goal, you take the example of a tortoise and a rabbit race. The tortoise is a person who was consistent and he was always persistent, consistent, slow and steady. So he won the race. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is never be too much enthusiastic. You keep a time as prescribed. When you're making a schedule, you keep a schedule that you can achieve and feel that if the problem is if you plan to finish medicine in 5 days and you're not able to finish medicine in 5 days, your morale will come down. Then you go plan to finish PSM in another 5 days, it doesn't finish off. Then again your morale will come down. Ultimately the vicious cycle will continue and you fall into a pit from which you will never come out. Instead, you just take anesthesia and plan okay, I'll finish anesthesia in 4 days. Can actually be finished in 3 days or 2 days. But you keep 4 days for it, and you finish it in 3 days, I'll give you a boost. And that boost will help you to focus more into the next subject. So always try to keep your morale high and up. Your morale and your motivation and your persistence and your confidence is the most important capital that you have in your preparation. Never let that go down. If you get depressed, if you get out of track, it's very difficult to achieve your dream. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is, you keep achievable smaller targets before the interim goal to achieve it, to overcome and reach the interim goal. So in this particular direction, I'll tell you a scenario, a story in which you have to choose. Okay? Imagine that you are a guy who just finished your final year MBBS and done your internship and is going into a NEET exam without any preparation. You're just going in frank. Okay? What is the scenario? You have 35 questions coming from medicine, imagine. That guy who just passed his MBBS, didn't finish his internship and going into the exam will be able to attend. If he has done it properly, if he passed by his own potential without somebody passing him, he would definitely be able to get at least 10 to 15 questions correct out of 35 questions. Okay? In the same scenario, you take that guy answering anesthesia or psychiatry or dermatology paper. There are some 6 to 8 questions from psychiatry, imagine. He won't be even able to finish at least 2 questions out of 8. He won't get correct even 2 out of 8 questions correct because he'd never studied or focused on psychiatry in his UG days. I'm telling you about a very average person who just got around 55 to 60% or maybe even 55% in his entire UG days. Okay? So that guy will have never touched psychiatry. He will never even even getting 1 for anesthesia will be a big thing. Okay, so that is how it happens. Now change the scenario into a person who has gone to a coaching and spent his entire time, he spent some 2 months trying to finish up his entire medicine subject, revised it number of times. He focused his complete passion into medicine. He wants to become a physician. He planned like anything and finished medicine, stipulated time and appeared for the exam. Out of 35 questions, if he's the most brilliant of the brilliant students, he will be able to achieve 30 out of 35. Okay, that is the maximum you can in any exam. Okay, just imagine the same scenario. You take anesthesia. You take anesthesia and you spend 2 days or 3 days in anesthesia and revise it once or twice before the exam and go for the exam. What you will find out is that Out of 8 questions, 7 will be approachable and at least 6 will get correct. One may go out of your hands, okay? But at least 7 will be approachable and you feel like you have known it and seen somewhere, and 6 you can definitely get it correct if you have done a proper revision before the exam for anesthesia. That is also possible in half to 1 day, okay? So just see that effort to yield ratio between these two subjects are huge. So to a guy or a girl who's an average person who's not keeping his aim as AIIMS or PGI or JIPMER, I will tell you the most important thing that you should understand is that not to get a gold medal or a DM degree in general medicine, okay, or in surgery or in PSM or in pediatrics. Pediatrics is possible, but then you can study pediatrics completely. But then I'm telling you about the majors like this. If you spend your time of more than 1 month or like 30 days in these subjects, it is gonna end up in a big disaster. Okay, so your choice should be like going from, to keep your morale high, to keep on track. What you should do is you select one short subject like anesthesia, finish it in 2 days, then go into the bigger one, ophthalm, finish it in 4 days. Okay, then go back into another short, dermatology, finish it in 2 days, go to orthopedics, 4 days, then come back to psychiatry, 3 days or 4 days, then go into pathology, which is much bigger. So by the time you go into pathology, and there you'll have to spend some 10 days or 8 days to finish pathology. By the time you go into pathology, you already finished some 3 or 4 subjects. You will have that boost, that morale, that energy to go into pathology. That is what you require. Each and every subject finishing, it is like a big boost, a morale into your heart will be like pumping you up and giving you the confidence to stay in that track. Okay, and then you finish pathology, you finish pharmacology, then go back into doing a smaller one like RT and RD. Okay, then go into, you do this like you do cycle between a larger and a smaller subject. You finish your entire first year, second year, third year, and fifth possible pediatrics and gynae. Gynae is like a very limited subject, but with a large number of questions. 30 questions comes from gynae, but gynae it's possible to finish because we all finished gynecology in our UG days with almost a recent amount of effort in labor room and all those things. That all the questions that in asked in gynecology are predictable. They can never go out and go. They can't go and ask you a new gene in Alzheimer's where you ask in medicine. You can't go and ask gynecologists like what is the latest technique of delivery. It is always normal term delivery. It's always a partogram. It is always a CTG. It is always, you can always expect it to be a CS cervix question or a CA ovary question or a CA endometrium question. Limited area, predictable questions, it can be achieved and finished. 30 questions, beautiful subject. If you put an effort and time into gynecology, it will definitely reward you. Not like medicine. Even if you want medicine with entire heart, I'll tell you ditch medicine. Because medicine will never stay by your side. Unless and until you are ultra super medicine guy, it will not help you. Surgery also. Even if you are the best surgeon in the world, that is your hand and your logic. It is not your theory. So surgery will also ditch you. Okay, but gynae, it will never ditch you. Anesthesia, it can't. See, all these subjects who are limited, they'll always stay by your side. Okay, so you put your effort and you put your liability there, not in these big subjects. Okay, you can put it there. I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, so once you finish these things, how to finish it. That's the next question. You can finish medicine also, but that should be a focused study. You can finish surgery. Surgery, for example, just think from a surgeon's side, a general surgeon who's putting up a question paper from general surgery, from surgery. What is the most important thing for him? His most important day-to-day things that happens to him will be breast, thyroid, GIT. He can go into trauma. He can go into tumors that he always sees. So always the questions will come from there. Don't go and waste your time in going deep into urology in surgery. You go deep into breast. They'll always ask a question in breast. You finish, however much you put your effort into breast and learn more, it will yield you. Breast, it will yield you in pathology. It will yield you in medicine. It will yield you in pediatrics. Everywhere there, it's like, what I mean is pediatrics, the breast milk and all those things. So breast is like everywhere it will be there. Tumors, all tumors, everywhere it will yield you. So whatever tumors you study, the questions will be there from there. So identify topics like that from a subject and study. For an average guy who wants to come into competition, 10,000. I'm talking about a guy using 50,000. Okay, I'm not talking about a guy who wants first rank in AIIMS. Please, guys. So this is how you try to be focused, and that's how this was given to me by Ashwat sir, and this happens to everyone in NEET-PG. The problem is that you lack that orientation and how to go about. Okay. So what happens is this entire thing comes together and you have an aggregate of score that comes above a level. For example, you achieve 60% of knowledge in anatomy, 60% in physiology, and biochemistry, patho, pharma, which are the most high yielding subjects. You compile it, put a lot of effort in it, and learn. It will yield in all subjects. Biochemistry will yield, Rebecca Madam's book, if you read, I'll tell you, it will yield in every single subject will have something coming from biochemistry, her book. Her book is a golden book, okay? Just try it out. I'm a big fan of Rebecca Madam. So that's how it happens, you see. Every single subject that yields in multiple points, you should finish it like anything. So combining all these things, you know, you 60 in all these subjects will bring you into the competition level, and it will enable you to go and take your seat that is important for you, that particular subject that is important for you. For example, I've told you in my last video, if you want to take pediatrics, you've put your entire soul into it, you've put your entire self and studied for 1 year, then you muster up the strength and study for 1 more year, you're still getting 8,000 or 10,000, and then you go for DMB pediatrics, do it wonderfully, put your heart and soul into it, be a pediatrician. Come out and start practicing. I'll tell you, you'll become a better pediatrician than AIIMS, who has not gone in with a passion. Okay, with passion is different. So I'm telling you so that is how you achieve things. So in this particular line, select each subject, make a schedule. The schedule and the other things that is required in each subject as list and topics, I put it in a document with this video. You can download from there, and or like it will be actually in the website's upload link. So you can go and click there, register yourself, log in into the website. So if you log in, you will see a page, a premium members page in that. Go into the page and you will be able to, premium means I'm not telling you you're not paying, it's completely free. You can go into the website and register, it's free of cost. And then you can download these documents. It is very helpful. And so once you download the documents, you will get a list of books and other materials and topics to read. So I'll just, since majority of people are trying to do it by yourselves, I'll give you a video on how to do it by yourselves. But if you're having the ability to go to a class and clarify your concepts and your theory and attend a theory class, that is the best place. And if you have a capability to go into a TND session that is having theory access also. For example, you are a person who is in 30,000 rank and you're very good in your anatomy, physiology, or very good in pathology and biochemistry, but you're very weak in other subjects of short subjects. You're able to access the classes for our short subjects. Also in your TND session, go for such a session. For example, in NEET-PG, we allow them to go for 5 theory classes also within us. So similarly, if you go have a TND session like that, you go for that. Okay, so the TND will be for the weak subjects and the theory sessions will be for the TND will be the strong subjects and theory will be for the weak subjects. So you can just adjust and make an integral plan for you guys. So since majority of you guys are in the other part where you're trying to do it by yourselves, you're gone and you've ended up in disaster with the various centers. So I'll tell you something. If you are taking a particular material, okay, a book, I don't know how to see the videos. I'm not a big fan of videos. So if you can actually extrapolate from this book-based study or note-based study into your video-based study, okay? So how to do it? So in this, if for example, I'm taking an example of ophthalmology, okay? I'm telling you it's ophthalmology. So what I followed for ophthalmology is, you can see behind me is Arvind Arora. I'm a big fan of Arvind Arora. So Arvind Arora's short subjects books are there, in which you have 2 volumes, ENT of orthopedics and the other one having RT, RD, derma and all those things. So in psychiatry. So you can take the Arvind Arora's ophthalmology book. The advantage of Arvind Arora's ophthalmology is that it is a very concise and basic material, having the basic requirements and basic concepts of all subjects. It's not written by an ophthalmologist, bringing in everything of ophthalmology into it. It is written by Arvind, I think it's by Arvind Arora, and he has brought the basic concepts of everything together and he has put it up in a very understandable form. That is, each and every, it's going in the same pattern how we studied our UG also. For example, if I'm not taking any money from Arvind Arora, by the way, I'm telling you. So what happens is that you take, how did a book start in UG days? It started with, optics, that is the optical part, and it ended up with the optic nerve, or at the end of the, you've come from optics, then you go into the cornea, you go into the anterior chamber, the lens, and each of the parts like that you finished up. No? Similarly, this ophthalmology part is divided into a number of sessions. Each chapter will have some 5 to 6 pages of notes, and then they have some 40 to 50 questions and then explanations. So what you have to do is, if you are a fresh person trying to do it first for the interns and the first time attenders, you can actually read the theory part, which is a concise, very well written explanatory part. It is not a note like thing. In a handwritten notes which doesn't have head or tail, it's not like that. It is a very good explanatory gist of the basic concept that's required for learning for any MCQ based pattern. So you read those notes and take a white paper. There are 50 questions in it, okay? Read the first question, mark the option. Second question, third question. You do the entire 50 questions like an exam within some 30 minutes, okay? And then you go and correct yourselves. When you read a question, you try to correct yourselves. What happens that it goes either correct or wrong. When it goes wrong, something will click in your head. Okay, why did I go wrong there? I read like this. So it will try to find why you went wrong. Then you read the explanation in it, the key. That will tell you like, okay, this is how I thought, but this was the actual thought process. So that will rectify your brain. You will try next time when you're reading something else on the similar lines, your brain will be able to grasp those topics or those points that guided you to this answer. Okay, that's a very good strategy. So what happens, you correct yourselves out of 50 questions, you will get around 30 questions or maybe 35 questions correct. That is 60% correct. If you're having 60 to 70% correct in that particular chapter, read those areas that you went wrong just from the explanation in that book, go to the next chapter. If it is less than 60%, that means that you're very weak in that particular subject or that particular area. Now you classify your subjects into two groups. Only then, if I tell this here, only you'll understand. See, when books, when particular subjects, large number of chapters end up in having less than 60%, should understand that is a minor subject for you. If you spend too much time trying to cover up everything in that minor subject, you will miserably fail. So in the minor subject, your goal should be to achieve 60%. How to achieve it? You go back and read the notes once again. You just take up the explanations once again and note down the most important topics that you went wrong. The topics that you went wrong, write it in another paper. That will be your revision topics for 3 months later when you start your revision. Got it? So your minor subject, you have less than 60%. You read those things that is wrong. You identified the topics, you wrote it in a white paper and kept it. It's not the question you're writing the topic. For example, you did not know about myopia, okay, about the refractory changes in myopia. Then that is a bad thing for you. You wrote it as refraction in myopia. Alright, myopia. Okay, so when you read after 3 months and you're revising, you have to read myopia. Okay, so that is one point. The second point is, when you go from this into the next chapter, so you finish the entire chapter like this. But when you are finishing your plus subjects, for example, you are getting consistently more than 60% or 70% in all the chapters. That means it is a plus subject. The plus subject is subject that is going to yield you and get you a rank and bring you up into the top level. You know that I'm a guy who got 34th rank in JIPMER. So you should understand that from 28,000, how I got in 34 is that I had some very crucial subject that was plus for me. I identified these plus subjects and put a lot of effort on that and made it perfect. Picture perfect. For example, for me, pathology, I'm really strong in pathology. Okay, biochemistry, Rebecca madam, I'm a big fan. I've finished her books at least 3 times. Okay, Rebecca madam's biochemistry is really awesome. The applied genetics and the other part of her book is really awesome. So that part I've read 3 or 4 times. JIPMER, you finish the tumors, you finish your genetics, you finish your syndromes, you finish every single chromosome should be in your fingertips, and that's why I'm an oncologist, you know. All these things, all these numbers and all, especially radiation oncologist. These things, if it's there in your fingertips and everything that sounds wow. Such things, if it is there, then it is JIPMER. Okay, so you just take it off and keep it. So that is your plus subjects. You identify those subjects that is plus for you. It can be anesthesia, it can be pathology, it can be pharmacology, whatever it is. That plus should be perfect for you. That should go above 90%. Okay? Those that are minus for you, you identify them, keep on working and know what everyone knows in that subject. For example, anatomy, you should be clear that what everyone knows in the subject should be known to you. Should not say that radial nerve, the radial groove has radial nerve, and if you have a person who is having a injury there, you should be able to predict that this is a radial nerve. Okay, a foot drop should know what nerve it is. It is like everyone should be knowing it. So that particular each and every topic that everyone knows should be known for you guys. Okay, so that is how a minor subject should be taken and the plus subject. So combining all these things together, you will rise up to the competitive level. So I think I have told you an example so once you finish the entire subject like this, like for example, you've taken ophthalmology, started from the refraction, ended up in the nerve. And you finish the ophthalmology, you go and take a good subject-wise test app. Till now you're doing self-test, okay? Go to a subject-wise self-test app. For example, I've done pre-PG, another app also, but that app has changed the ethics, so I'm not telling that app's name. I'll tell you pre-PG. So if you take pre-PG or any other app that is offering you a very good subject-wise test, you take that and you mark it off. Okay, you do the exam, you do the app, you see your rank. If you score more than 70, don't see your rank, I'm telling your score. If you score more than 70% or 60% for that, be cool, it's a good subject for you. If it is less than 70%, you note that this is a minor subject for me. You should put extra effort in that, and that should be your first subject of revision. Okay, so that should be kept aside. And then you go to the next subject. Okay, while doing this, I add third point here. Okay, if I tell everything like this, it will be like, big mess. So I'm telling you step by step. So you have identified the particular, subject or exam you're planning for. You made your decision, you have put your effort on every day, and you have planned for each subject. Okay, so each subject is like you take up this particular book or particular class notes. Okay, I forgot that, the class notes. If you are already a person who's gone to all these classes and has a very good note that you have prepared, you have written, and you know what it is very well, and it's not too vast to get you deviated from the particular subject, well and good, you read those notes instead of the Aravind Arora notes. Okay, and then you do the questions in Aravind Arora, because that question is a representative set of questions from the entire subject. I'm telling you, not bluffing, it's a very good set of questions. And those people who are doing apps, I don't know whether you can extrapolate it into an app-based question bank, because they will have some thousands of questions for one subject, and it will not be representatively distributed from between all chapters. I felt like if you do 1,000 questions together for a subject, it becomes too much. You just need 50 questions for one particular topic, like refraction. You do 50 questions in refraction. It's almost done, guys. Don't go and do some 500 questions in the entire subject. So it's different. So you can do it for revision, but not now. So what I'm trying to say is you finish like this and then go into the app if you have an app and finish it off. Try to finish it off. But then if you have this book, that is the best thing. If you have a class series in which you have a class-wise test, for example, NEET-PG, we have a class-wise test. So that test, if you can answer, that's also a good option. Okay, so you get a score. Your percentage is more important than your rank at this particular point in that particular subject. Okay, so you finish it off and go into the next subject. And I told you, when you choose the next subject, it should be alternating between a easy, difficult, more difficult, easy, difficult, more difficult. You bring it up like that. Keep your morale up. Keep your timetable. Okay, that is how you should keep completely. Consistency is very important. And then the next thing is, every day before sleeping, the last moment of your day, like last 30 minutes, you should spend on doing a daily test. A daily random test. It should not be from surgery. If you're reading from surgery, it should not be from surgery. If you're reading gynae, it should not be from gynae. Because, see, if you are doing a random daily test, spending 30 minutes per day doing 60 questions, that will be randomly presenting you topics on different subjects. Okay? And when you're doing it out, what happens is that either you will know the question or you won't know the question. When you know the question, it will be a revision for you. If it is not known to you, what happens is that your brain tries to always make mistakes and learns. Your brain understands that while you're trying to find out the answer, subconsciously you're registering the topic in your head. That topic is there. For example, I have lost ulcerative colitis question today. After 1 month or after 2 weeks, when I'm reading surgery, ulcerative colitis will strike my head. Whatever I read from ulcerative colitis, I'll try to relate it to that question or that topic. It happens subconsciously. If you don't trust me, I don't know how to convince you guys. It really happens, guys. You're the premonition that if you know, your eyes doesn't see what your mind doesn't know. So if you're trying to study a completely new topic, for example, for you guys, I'll tell you, if you're going and trying to study amyloidosis, and you've never heard of amyloidosis in your life, if I say A beta and the gamma, all those things, if I that amyloid, dash amyloid, if you're trying to say that, you'll be like a set of data for you, you don't know what it is. But before that, you've seen a question asking like multiple myeloma has dashed myeloid deposition. Okay, it is a it's a primary or secondary amyloidosis. So it will be like questions like that. So that question you didn't know. So when you are reading amyloidosis, that dashed myeloid, this myeloid was asked there. So I think this is an important thing. Okay, then brain will register it up. It will not just see as a random set of data and numbers in front of you. That is called focused approach. That is called smart study. this entire process of building your knowledge, knowing what to read and knowing what not to read. If there is a question on, for example, they have asked you to do a question on regression correlation, okay? And it's a PSM statistics level, biostats. NEET will never ask you about regression and correlation, okay? They may ask you a Gaussian curve, but they will not go to regression or relation. To know that it is required in AIIMS, okay? To know that it is required in AIIMS, it's not required in NEET, you should have a good guidance. And that guidance is given by these centers. But if you're not having it, I'll tell you the best way is to randomly work out a set of question papers and identify the topics that is important. Or in that list that I provided, there is a list of topics that is very important. It's actually borrowed from somewhere, but then it's a very good list, okay? So that good list of, you can use that list to identify the topics that is important, okay? So I think I've just covered on how to have a good preparation and how to go out by each subject. And if you have any doubt on still how to learn an individual subject, 6 or 7 months back I've done another video on how to approach a subject in one of my videos, in my playlist you can see. I've used anatomy, one of the most difficult subject for everyone, as an example, and I've described very well how to approach a subject and study it very well. So you just do it, see that video and try to go about it, okay? So I think I've summarized all these things, and today I think the video is too much, so if I add a story, it will be too boring. So concluding today, have a very nice plan, approach, a target, interim target, daily goals, or subject wise goals, and you achieve it. Keep your morale high. Each subject you select a very good book, a very good note series or a class series, and go about it, and keep yourself consistent, and you keep yourself motivated. Ultimately you'll reach your goal. Wherever your goal is, you always be happy. It is not about the subject, which place you do. It's all about the subject you achieve, and try to do that every single day in your life. It doesn't matter whether you're an anatomist, or it doesn't matter whether you're a neurosurgeon. The only thing is whether you love that or not. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.